Well, we are actually very bullish about the future of the power industry in the Philippines. We believe that demand is going to be there. Economy will pick up. The fact that Meralco has submitted their supply power purchase plan, I think we can see that there is actually a growth in demand. We will be growing to a total capacity of 9,200 megawatts, and that 50% of that would at least be renewables. No? So a significant portion of our growth in the next 10 years will come from renewable energy. We expect that we will be developing and executing at least 3,700 megawatts of new renewable energy capacity from, of course, obviously, solar, wind, which are actually, we've met masts and in place in certain locations. We will continue to look into developing run-of-river hydros where they are viable. We're also looking forward to actually assets that the PISAM will still be privatizing. There's still Kaseknan, there's still CBK, and of course growth in select Southeast Asian countries, no? Or maybe even outside of that, as we continue to grow our international markets. So, and that would still be likely solar and probably offshore wind as well.
Aboitiz Powers has made a name with its clean energy brand, but also you have a significant thermal portfolio. Please tell us how you are balancing it.
You know, we've been looking at this concern, no? And it is a concern. Climate change is upon us, but rather than mitigation, I think we should be focusing more on adaptation. We're still focused on balancing the energy trilemma. We would like to supply reliable power, reasonably priced, but of course responsibly produced. No? We believe that coal will still play a vital role in our energy ecosystem in the next 10 years for sure. Part of that would be our assets, no? GNPD in Bataan, which will add 1,336 megawatts, much needed energy capacity into the grid next year. And then, of course, the ones that won the bid to supply Meralco with 1,800, 600 megawatts of that from a competitor is still coal. No? And I think, you know, market will still demand for coal, given that coal probably will remain the most competitive generation option, no? In the short to mid-term. Again, but having said that, I mentioned that we will continue to transition. No? We will continue to look for alternative options. No? And to me, right, the tipping point where we can really say that, well, we can be self-sufficient without coal is that when a combination of variable renewable energy coupled with an energy storage system can get you through the periods where your variable renewable energy like solar is not operating, and the cost of that can be competitive to, say, existing baseload plants, then okay, we can say that we can actually do away with coal. We've also mentioned that by 2030, part of that 9,200 megawatts would be gas, which again is a fair transition towards a cleaner future. No? If we can still find a better and a greener and a more cost-effective option other than gas, then we will consider that option.
Please tell us more about your efforts related to battery storage.
We're almost halfway done with our battery energy storage project in Mako in Mindanao, where we are going to install the battery to augment our oil barge, our oil generation facility, to provide ancillary services to Mindanao, no, where it is actually needed. We are also looking at a number of locations in Luzon and in Visayas to augment an oil generation facility to provide contingency reserve. But we're also looking at certain locations in Luzon as a standalone battery to provide regulating reserve. Both the government and the private sector need to work together so that we can achieve those commitments without any disruption or without having any consequences towards higher costs of electricity. Again, everything has to be balanced.